Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration, the Power is Within podcast. And we are live tonight, and tonight's guests are...
Claude, I'm 19.
Paulina, I'm 15.
Braden, I'm 15.
Henry, I'm 5.
You're my co-host, you're not a guest. Oh, jeez. He's 18. Claude's 20. He said 19. He just turned 20 the other day, so he had a birthday.
I keep forgetting that.
So he's a big boy now. He doesn't have to use the booster seat anymore. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to plug this book before we start. I read this great book. Of course, it's not. There it is. It is called 30 Dangerous Ideas for Men in Their 30s by Ashley Davis. I can't hardly see. That's right. Ashley Davis, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Ashley Davis. It's a great book. I recommend you read it. It's a quick read. I think about 80 pages, something, ebook. And I really enjoyed that. It was recommended to me by the author himself. We were talking, and so I read it, and I'm glad I did. Okay. Tonight's topic is going to be, hey, leave a comment in the comment section. If you have any questions, ask us. We'll be glad to answer. Tonight's topic is going to be being real. What does it mean to be real in regards to dating? If you're going out with a girl, you want to be real. Do you want to be real? If you're going to be real, you better have something to be real about.
Facts.
If you don't, then you're probably going to bore her, or she's not going to be too interested. So, you guys have any comments on being real when it comes to dating?
Well, you can be real, just don't be too real, you know?
What do you mean by don't be too real?
From my experience, I've learned there's being real, and then if you're too real, it's like sharing everything, you know, your emotions and everything like that, and just being upset or whatever.
Right.
It's never worked for me personally. So I would say be real when it comes to being honest, and I guess if you're loyal to your girl, but don't be telling her about, you know, I'm worried about you hanging out with your girlfriend because it makes me think you're going to go out and be with somebody else or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good point because how real can you be? And actually, what does being real mean? Because being real for one person could mean one thing, and for someone else it could mean something completely different. Let's say you go out on a date with your girl. It's been 4 or 5 dates, and you're having a hard time at work. Now, is it not being real if you don't share that with her? Or because you're holding back, or is that something you should share with your girl?
I personally think that's something I'd keep to myself. That's something I'd talk to my homies about, you know, like be like, hey, I'm having some trouble at work or something like that. But I wouldn't share that with my girl because I don't want to put stress or make her worried about me, you know, not doing good at work or whatever.
Okay, but let's say you're out with your girl and she can tell. What's going on, Henry? Is something bothering you? Okay, if you say no, then you're being dishonest. So that's not being honest, is it? So what do you think about that?
I usually just say I got a lot on my mind. That's it.
Well, what's bothering you? Come on, you can share.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
That's usually what they do.
Usually what I do is I'll just be like, I just got a lot on my mind. If they keep asking me, I'll be like, it's nothing to worry about. That's it.
I know, but I care about you, and I want to help you.
Yeah, go ahead and spill your guts. See what happens.
I mean, that sounds tempting, but I'm telling you what.
Yeah.
You do that, and she might appreciate it the first time, but she's probably going to feel differently about you afterwards. Mm-hmm. That's what I think, because I guess it would depend how you shared it. If you shared it honestly, like it was really something that was really bothering you and you were struggling with, I really don't think that would be congruent to a good relationship with her. Nor would she feel like you were. It would just depend. I just think you have to be very careful about it. What do you think about that, Paulina? Are you following along here?
I am. I just need you to give me
Okay. Well, I was going to say something too. Let's say you do spill your guts or whatever and you tell her everything that's happening. One thing you could do to recover from that is be like, but I got it all in control. Everything's going to work out the way it's supposed to. And I got it. That's it.
But why won't you share with me what's going on?
Well, because
You
there's
don't
nothing to
worry about.
Yeah, there's nothing to worry about. I got it. Like I said, I got it under control.
Okay, because you know how persistent.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they are.
They want to know things they really don't want to know about. They think they want to know, but then if you happen to spill your guts or share it with them, 9 times out of 10, especially if you indicate to her that you're having some fear about it or anxiety, which would mean you're not sure if you can handle it or not. Mm-hmm. So some people may say that if you don't share with her fully, how you feel about it and what's going on, that you're really not being real, that you're holding back. Because we have this whole school of thought out here that you need to be vulnerable, you need to not hold back, you need to be your true, authentic self. But you could say, too, that your true, authentic self is not the self that shares things like that with his intimate partner. So really it all comes down to perception of how people look at what being real is. I think the extreme would be, let's say you go out with a girl a couple times and you never really, you're putting on this front, this facade that you're some kind of great whatever businessman, and it's all just a front. You're really not that at all. You're working at McDonald's, and I mean that's an extreme example. And you've never been out with two girls in your life, but you're acting like you know everything with her, or you're faking it until you make it, so to speak, I guess. So, Pauline, do you follow our drift here, what we're talking about as far as being real? How real do you want your man to be?
I think I agree with what Henry said. Be real, but not too real. Because I know for a fact that girls don't actually want you to share how you're feeling.
But you guys persist, don't you? You ask. It's like, well, come on.
I mean,
tell me
I
what's
don't.
wrong.
I used to, but I don't do it anymore because I've kind of realized that I don't want him genuinely sharing with me what's going on. I would rather have a response like Henry was talking about, like I've got it under control and stuff like that.
So you want to know that your man can handle things, any kind of problems that come about.
Yeah.
And he's not going to say, well, Paulina, I lost my job today, and that was really a good job, and I just don't know what I'm going to do. I just don't know what I'm going to do, Paulina. I don't know if I can get a job as good as that one or not. The boss was really mean to me. He treated me bad. I didn't like it.
I told him to grow some balls.
Starts crying. Yeah.
You tell him to do what?
Grow some balls.
Ah, so there you go. There's a response from a girl. That's what they want. They don't want you to be crying on them. But too many times a man wants, and I've kind of fell into this a little bit myself, not to that extreme, but we kind of want her to be somewhat like our mother was, somebody who we want her to show that she cares about us. But I think we can really want too much nurturing from our woman or girlfriend or wife, when really that's not her place to nurture us. It's her place to nurture kids if you have them, but not her man. Her man needs to be able to stand on his own, and it's great to have her support, but I don't think you should ever expect it. And because you're liable to get knocked down or disappointed if you're expecting her to support you. Of course, she needs to support you in your decisions and stand behind you. Actually, she should be your best cheerleader, but she doesn't need to be your emotional tampon, as they say, to where you're going to run to her every time. Oh, I had a rough day at work today. Oh, come here, honey. Let me hold you. No, that's not what she's there for. She may do that once or twice, but she's going to get tired of it pretty soon.
Personally, I believe it makes you look like less of a man.
Yeah, if you can't handle your situation. But if you're not sharing that with her, it goes back to the question again, is that being real? Some people would say that's not being real because you're not sharing what's really going on with your life. And she's liable to say something, well, tell me what's going on. I mean, we're partners. I'm your girlfriend. You can tell me anything. I've heard that one before. You can tell me anything, Braden. What's going on with you?
That's the thing. Another thing I was going to say, too, is sometimes I've said something like just trouble at work, and then I've had a girl be persistent trying to ask me, and I'll be like, but I got it under control. It's fine. I'm like, let's just quit talking about it. Let's talk about something else.
Yeah,
Just change the
there
topic.
could be levels to it though. Like one is like emotional tampon, and the other one's just not being too real.
Yeah, but that's the thing is it's like nowadays people talk about you need to share everything, talk about your feelings and everything like that, and you could be worried about something, but at the same time, talking about it continuously and worrying about it more really doesn't make the situation better anyway. Especially if you're talking about it to your girlfriend or something like that and putting worry on her as well.
Well, she wants you to be vulnerable about the traumas in your life. That's a new buzzword. It really kind of bugs, like traumas. I mean, I was trying to think of something that happened to me I was talking about, they would have called traumatic. But trauma to me is something like you're in a car accident, your mother gets killed in front of you, or your brother. That's pretty traumatic stuff. But it seems to me they're using that word for anything from dad wouldn't buy me an ice cream after the ball game to my girlfriend broke up with me. I'm going through this trauma. I have to deal with this trauma. I mean, it's not very manly for a man to be. I mean, guys that are in the war and their buddy gets blown up, that's some traumatic crap. But half the people growing up here in the States nowadays, their life is so soft and they're like snowflakes. I don't know what kind of trauma they could have. I didn't get to go to the movies last Saturday because I got in trouble. So they use that word quite a bit. So I think part of the problem is being real. I just think the masculinity has really diminished in the last 20 or 30 years. I see your friends, they're really, a lot of them are feminine. They don't really know, like that one, we won't mention any names, but like that one friend of yours is always fixing his hair like kind of like a girl, really. And I don't know whether he identifies as a man or, and I like him. He's a good guy. I asked him to be on the show. But he just seems to be confused about what it means to be a man, or if he even really wants to play that role in society. I mean, it's my opinion that if you have a penis, you're a man, and if you have a vagina, you're a girl. But we have all these things now where if you feel a certain way, that you're not this or you're not that. I don't understand all that, but that's what's happening a lot now. So we have confusion with a lot of the young people what it is to be masculine or to be feminine. We all have masculine and feminine sides, but when you have a man and a woman together, you have to have polarity. If you don't, it doesn't balance out. You have something to say, Frank?
Yeah, okay, so I'm not going to say any names, but...
Well, be careful how you speak on this topic.
I know, yeah.
Because
I was at a person's house today, and he had a girl over, and she told him that, like, she showed him a paragraph or whatever, and she told him, she's like, if I text you this, she's like, don't bother effing texting me. She's like, don't even try, like, disrespecting him, like, in front of him. And then she's like, she told him that she was hanging out with some dude that she liked, or, like, she used to like, and then she unpinned him, like, the guy that she's messing with now. Like, she unpinned him because she was with that other guy.
what does that mean, unpinned?
So
On Snapchat,
you
can
can
pin
get
somebody.
pinned to where your text is the first one to pop up
And then when somebody else
automatically.
snaps you, instead of their name being at the top, it's underneath the person you have pinned.
Yeah.
So, like,
And
it's
this
like,
was her boyfriend?
Yeah, this is the guy that she's like, with, like, kind of now. And she unpinned him when she was with the other guy.
Oof.
So what is your opinion on that? Like,
Well, he needs to call her out on that.
yeah,
But
and then
he also has to ask himself, how did I let it get to this point? Anytime a woman has started disrespecting me, it's because I became complacent and I allowed it to get to that point. And really, when a woman disrespects you, she's asking you to stand up and grow a pair. And what are you going to do about it?
And then,
are you man enough to stand up to me, or should I go find another man that can actually protect me and provide for me? Because you're not going to be able to do it if the shit hits the fan.
yeah, and then also in front of the guy that she's with now, she told him that she would want to kiss that guy
Yeah.
because he has big
You
lips.
remember who I was telling you about?
Yeah.
That's what she said.
So what I think about that is the clock is ticking to the end of that relationship unless he pulls it back in, which sounds like to me it's gotten to a point right now where he better start pulling pretty
Yeah.
fast because it's going to fall apart. The more that
Honestly-
he tolerates, the more she's just going to push. She'll be kissing that guy in front of him before long.
Yeah.
If she hangs around him that long, if she doesn't just completely dump him.
What I would suggest for that guy is just to kind of quit spending so much time with her. Kind of separate himself. And if she asks him, like, why aren't we spending time with him? Like, I'm busy. That's the best way to do it. But at the same time, too, he doesn't want to just, put her to the side and completely quit talking to her, because then she's just going to quit talking to him completely and then go for the guy that she's finding attractive or whatever. But obviously, it bothers him. But, like, back to the topic, he's not being real to himself.
Right. A lot of times guys are nice to girls and they'll allow the girl to do something they would never allow their buddy to
Yeah.
do. So that's not being real either. I mean, if you're just because you like her and you want to be with her and you're letting her get away with all this crap, that's not being real. You'd call your buddy out on that crap. But you're being a nice guy.
Yeah.
And nice guys finish last with girls, but nice girls finish first with guys. That's the way it
Yeah.
Nice is weak. The original root, what is it? I think it was a Latin word or I can't remember, but nice, the original meaning or the root word of that is ignorance, naivete. So that's where it comes from. But yeah, the girls don't like nice guys.
Yeah, and then there was also one more thing about that, and that just happened, like, last night. He constantly kept checking her location. he kept checking it. And
Now,
then
does she know that, or
Yeah, she knows that. And then he kept texting her, spamming her phone. Like, what are you doing? Where are you at? What's taking you so long?
yeah,
And
that's
he told me that he was saying that. I was like, bro, you just need to, let it go. I was
Back
like,
off, yeah.
Just chill. Like, don't text her anymore. Like,
Have you said
just
that?
wait. And then he was like, she was down the road and she turned around and left and went somewhere else. And I was like,
Well, yeah,
just let it.
he's lucky. He's lucky that
Yeah.
she's still hanging around.
Yeah, and
She
I
must.
told him, I was like, dude, you need to listen because, like, you just have to let that stuff go. Like, just don't even pay attention to it anymore. I was like,
So the reality is, he's not being real, because if he said what he would have said, look, you're either going to stop this crap, or,
Yeah.
but because he doesn't want to lose her, he's actually not being his real self. So he's just complying and allowing her to get away with it instead of saying, look, you're going to continue this, then we're done.
Kind of like
Yeah,
he's in
that's
love.
facts.
What's
well,
that?
yeah, he's in love with her. He's so in love with her that he's letting her get away with things that he shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Let's say he had a homeboy that's supposed to come through and pick him up, take him somewhere, and his homeboy was just like never answered or quit texting him. He'd probably be mad at his homeboy and call him out.
Yeah,
But-
see, you guys need to call. You need to call that guy out, man. You need to tell him, straighten him out. Because back when I was younger, a bunch of guys hanging around, they'd be calling you out. I'd be calling you pussy whipped, is what they'd be calling you on that
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah, the crazy thing about that situation is they haven't been messing around for too long. So,
And he's already,
Jeez, yeah,
Yeah.
he's
folded.
already getting whipped. That's what-
Yeah,
that's what we
yeah.
used to call it. I
I've
don't know what
even
you guys
told
call
him-
it.
I've even told him before.
call the same
I was like, dude, like, I've been through this situation before, and, like, the mistakes that I made, I know how to fix them now. Because, Henry helps me a lot with this stuff, and, like, I know, like, what to tell them what to do now. But whenever I was dating this one girl, I was way simping out, like, hard. I don't know, like, but then I knew, like, I needed to fix those mistakes. So now I'm, like, different when it comes to, like, talking to girls.
And another thing too, to add on to his situation, if you're gonna be real, like let's say he stands up to her and says something, and he says, if you don't listen to me or listen to what I tell you to do, we're gonna be done. We need to break up. He needs to mean that. You can't just say that thinking you're gonna get results, because
Right. And I think the first thing you said about withdrawing his attention is probably because really most time women don't listen to what you say, but they will listen to what you do. Because I've been in situations where I was starting to be treated disrespectful, and no matter how many times I told them what was going to happen, look, you keep this up, I'm going to be gone. It didn't work. I didn't really know at the time I should withdraw my attention and just kind of back off. And like you said, when they ask me why I'm not around, don't say, well, it's because you're doing this.
Yeah.
I'm busy. And then they get the message.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
otherwise, they don't understand, because anytime I ever said that, I ended up leaving them, and they're like, I can't believe you left me.
yeah,
What have I been telling you for the last 6 months or 4 months, whatever, however long it's been going on? So you have to communicate with girls somewhat covertly, because you tell them overtly like you do a man, they just don't. They don't get it.
I've tried that too. I've done the same thing. Sit there and had a conversation, and then the next day they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean they even agree, and then it's like
Yeah.
the next day they're doing because you're just telling them, you're not showing them.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you something.
Is this Frank, our cameraman? What's
Just
it?
read that.
I don't know if I can without my glasses. Oh, I can't see it.
Let me see.
Not enough light in here for me.
It says, ain't nothing much cuter than you, right? And then he texted me this.
Let me see.
Show it to Henry. So, but it just looks like to me the disrespect is continuing, and he's simping for her. Is that what he's
Yeah.
doing? Yeah, basically simping for her. And it happens a lot of times when a guy starts getting disrespected, he thinks he has the illusion of action. He tries harder to make her happy. But really, it doesn't matter how he feels about her. It's how she feels about him.
Yeah. Facts. Big facts.
Claude, you have anything to say on this subject?
I think another thing about being real is what was it? Not acting like somebody you're not when you're hanging out with
Yeah.
somebody, because you can't keep up that. You can't keep that up forever.
Yeah.
You know,
That
eventually-
persona. Yeah.
Yeah, and the best thing you can do is just act the way you are.
Yeah.
Don't act
Be
like-
your act. And the thing is, I've seen another thing on social media. It's like be your true self, and that's another thing. Like I understand what they mean by that, but there's a limit to being your true self.
Some people take it to another extent, like
Yeah.
being too much like themselves.
Yeah, if you want to be your true self, you need to be a true self that people are going to respect.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
women are going to be
Right.
attracted to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The problem is most men aren't like that. So if they're they're true. But then again, I think most of the time simps and people that are looking for approval of girls are not being
Yeah.
their true selves.
Exactly.
They're just doing what they think she wants. How many times has a guy out there with a girl? He's trying to get. He meets her. She's pretty, and he's thinking, "I wonder if she's going to like me." Instead of him thinking, "I wonder if I'm going to like her." I've met a lot of beautiful women in my life, and once you get to know them, they're not so beautiful. And I've also met some girls that are not so beautiful, but once you get to know them, they look a lot better.
Yeah.
So you can't tell just by the way a woman looks. You have to kind of get to know her. Of course, that's what we're attracted to first as men. But once you find out what's under the hood, so to speak, then you'll find out whether or not they're worth your time.
Yeah, I've had a lot of my friends, like my friends that are girls, tell me that their boyfriend acts different around guys and like their best friends and stuff. And I think the reason why she like that happens to her is because of the fact that he puts on a front when he's around her and acts like somebody he's not. But when he's around his friends, he like shows his true self, and she's not attracted to that.
Yeah, yeah, that's.
What would you tell somebody that would say, I don't want to say anything because I feel like she would get annoyed?
You're better off just.
He better say whatever
Yeah.
it is. He's not. That I would say is being your unauthentic self.
Yeah.
'cause
And that's what people talk
The
about when you ought to
person-
be real.
Well, I mean, it could
They
be
were
with
like-
confidence too.
I don't want to get her annoyed and her get mad.
Well, he's afraid of losing her.
Yeah.
Right there, he's losing her already. If you're afraid of losing a woman, you're going to lose her.
Yeah.
Because you'll act on that fear. Just like she would respect him more if he said something. Just say. He doesn't have to argue with it. You can just say, look, I don't like this. It needs to stop. Walk away. I mean, she could start going, well, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Doesn't matter. You say what you say and you don't argue. You never argue with the woman.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done it. It doesn't work. Okay?
It continues.
That's
It's
why
just
I'm
a
telling you.
continuous, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you not to argue. Just as a man, you say what you need to say, and that's it. What is there to argue about?
Yeah.
She either complies or goodbye.
Yeah,
Comply
facts.
or goodbye. It's simple as that. You guys got something going on over there you want to talk about? A little inside game? What's
Yeah.
up there?
Not very talkative tonight, huh, Claude?
Oh no, not really. I
He
mean,
needs to get some sleep.
Yeah.
You're just saying a lot of things that I would personally say myself. So like,
Yeah, I'm stealing all your words. Yeah.
like, I can't really think of anything that like I would say in this subject because
Well, and another thing too, with like being, what were we talking about? Oh, being real. When I hang out with Braden or Claude or something like that, I call them out on stuff. You know, I'm real with them. I tell them, and I show Brado how to be real around his homies and his girl too. You know, I talk to him and I have conversations with him because I don't want him to say anything that's to his girl that's not Braden, not him. Because I know what you be doing. Man.
Yeah,
Check.
I've had personal experiences where I have like slipped up, but like you call me out on those things, and
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Like one to another.
Yeah.
I appreciate that so much. But like, if you wouldn't have told me that, I would have kept going on, and
Yeah.
I would have either lost that female or lost a homeboy.
Yeah, exactly. That's facts.
Yeah, your real friends are going to call you out. They're not just going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to tell you what you need to hear. You may not
Yeah.
like it, but that's what friends do.
Those fake homeboys will always be like, "Oh man, it's
Man,
like
you're
it's
so
all
cool."
good.
Well, and at
yeah,
the same
it's all
time-
good, bro."
At the same time, too, if you have fake homeboys and they think your female's attractive, they'll tell you to do things to where they
yeah.
know you're gonna mess
Yeah.
up,
Yeah, And I
so then they can
right.
slither
What
in
I've
there.
been seeing like a lot is ever since Henry's been helping him out with his girl, she's wanted him more
Mm-hmm.
than like anybody else she's ever been
Right.
with.
Yeah, it's facts. I've
Big
seen
fact.
that too. Yeah,
Big
she
fact.
always wants to hang out and stuff. But that's the thing. The thing that Brado's doing that I've done before too, and I still do to this day, is he's not putting all his attention and everything into her.
Yeah,
You
a
know?
woman doesn't want that.
He's focusing on what he needs to do, and at the same time, too, anytime she's around, he's not all over her. Sometimes he'll hang out with his homies instead of going over there and hanging out with her, which is completely fine because he can do
I
whatever
mean,
he wants.
there has been times where I have been like that, but you called me out on this stuff.
Well, a lot of guys, we call that game, but game is really just giving girls what they want. It's not about trying to sneak in there and get over
Yeah.
on them. A lot of people think that's what game is. It has nothing to do with that. Actually, when you make a girl wait because she texted you and you're busy or whatever, she wants that anticipation. She wants that. She wants to wonder about you. Give her the gift of missing you. Don't answer those messages right away. I've done that when I was ignorant about texting and all that. I thought that's what you're supposed to do, but when it was turned around and people done that to me, it was annoying. As soon as you send a message, it's like they open up right away and they send you back these long messages. And yeah, I had no idea how that worked. And when I realized when I was on the other side, I realized how annoying that is.
Yeah.
But, they want to wonder about you when it comes to messaging and about when you're going out with them too. They don't want to know that they have you locked in and you're the only one. Or you're the only one for. I would say she's the only one for you. That's
And
boring.
another thing too is like, as a guy, you should always have other options because females they always have options. You know what I'm saying, 24/7. But at the same time too, you could be talking to other girls. And if your female asks you, you don't want directly, yeah, I'm talking to other girls. But at the same time, you don't want to lie and say you're not. Just be like, you're my number one or something like that.
Yeah, but you could say something like, "Oh, I talked to about 15 of them today."
Yeah, exactly.
What does it say? Agree and magnify.
Yeah.
I talked to 30 girls today. I was talking to 50 last night.
Well, to add on what you said earlier about like what a girl wants, I mean, what I've learned from Henry is you can give a girl what she wants, but you also need to give her what she needs to hear.
Yeah, what she needs.
Yeah.
What she wants and what she needs are two different things. And what she says she wants and what she really wants usually are two different things.
Yeah, true. And you can tell too because when you're around them, and by the things you do, like what Bredo does, I know his girl probably wants to be around him, or she thinks she wants to be around him 24/7. But if she was around him 24/7, she'd probably get bored of him. He's got mystery because he doesn't answer her right away. Sometimes he's busy, he's not paying attention to his phone, and he's not hanging out with her all the time.
Yeah, last night I was hanging out with her and so I was playing on my phone whenever I first got there. I usually do that for about 5 minutes, and then I either watch Netflix or I just talk to her, have a good conversation. But she was like in her own side of like the couch because we were sleeping on the couch and stuff, and I was just watching TV, and she was like, "Why are you not cuddling with me right now?" I was like, "I'm just watching TV. You can come over here easily." And she does that a lot to think like it's either or not to think, but she'll usually want me to go over there. But sometimes like
You just make her come over to
Yeah.
you.
Well, then
I just make her come over to me.
logically, a guy would think, well, okay, well, I'll go
Yeah.
over there and do what she wants, and she's going to like me more. Actually, it's counterproductive. If you do what she wants, then she's going to like you less. And for us men, sometimes we think, well, that doesn't make any sense. No, it doesn't make any sense, but that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys get frustrated about that.
Yeah, and some people do make mistakes. Like when they try to confront somebody about it, like they text them. instead
Yeah,
of going up to
that's-
them in person and calling
Well, that's
them
a
out
buffer.
on that.
They're afraid
Yeah.
to
Right.
confront.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it's hard in person sometimes too because I remember, you remember that one time when I had that girl here and I told her to leave, but I wasn't man
yeah.
enough at the time, so she wouldn't listen to me. So Dad had to go in there and tell
Yeah.
her to leave, and then
And I
even
wasn't
then-
sure if she's going to leave.
I was like, man.
You don't wanna go.
But
I finally got her
everybody-
to go.
I've had my own struggles too, and it takes time. You just, have to be man enough, and you have to work on yourself to be that man. And also another thing is you have to respect yourself. If you don't respect yourself, how do you expect somebody else to respect you?
Well, I think it's more difficult in the U.S. today than it was because women are growing up with this, watching these shows where women are kicking these 200-pound guys'
Yeah.
butts and telling men what to do, and these men are okay and succumbing to them. So here it's like when I was young, if I'd have told her to leave, if it had been my father, she would have left before he probably got to the door
Yeah.
and asked her. I mean, she would have left when you said you were going to go tell your dad. But women have gotten so brazen and bold now because they're empowered by the legal system, and they actually think I've seen many on social media where they stand up to a man and then they get knocked down because they're pushing the man around or slapping him, and they're like, oh, "I can't believe you hit me." Well, what do you expect? They're not men. I mean, but they're going to act like a
Yeah.
man. They're going to get treated like a man. And it's strange how so many women out there want to be like a man. They shake hands like a man. But then when they actually get treated like a man in a physical situation because they're hitting the guy or slapping him or knocking the hell out of him, then it's like all of a sudden they're a victim. I'm
Yeah.
a woman. They shouldn't do. And everybody's like, oh, you shouldn't have did that. But yet what, he's supposed to sit there and allow her to hit him and throw stuff at him or whatever happens.
Yeah, I
It's
remember.
ridiculous.
There was this video on social media where this girl was hitting this dude, and she kept hitting him, So he took her and he body slammed her, and then her friend was like, "Oh my god!" But she wouldn't quit hitting him. I think she might have taken his board too and hit him with it. I'm not sure. But then when he took her down, I'm sorry. It was Okay, but when he took her down, then it was a big deal. You know, she's a victim and all this, blah blah this, and I don't know if he got in trouble or not. But
Well, like I don't know. I don't get it nowadays because nowadays the society and social media wants to put these women on a high pedestal higher than men.
well, then that's the simps too. That's what the simps
Yeah.
do. That's why it's so easy for a female to get validation when they're on Instagram.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
they just.
Yeah.
I mean, men think that it's gonna give them more of a benefit to pull women. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, if they cut other guys down that are being a man.
Yeah, I just don't understand it at that point.
What would you tell like a younger kid, like, you know, our age, if he's one of those kids that are like, oh, I don't want to be that type of guy.
What type of
Yeah.
guy? You mean
Like-
like
Us, like how we
Pick me?
have.
Yeah,
our
where
game
where
and
he's like, I don't
everything.
want to treat my girl like
You
that.
know, like
well, I would say good luck, buddy. See how that works out
Yeah, seriously.
with the
mean,
women because they're not going to respect you and they're not going to love you. But they're told, a guy like that would be told by society and by women and by a lot of men that if you act that way, that you're going to be respected and loved.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work that way. You're not going to change eons of evolutionary programming of women's minds and men's minds with 60 years of women's liberation. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
So-
and also there was this Instagram post that I saw, and Tate posted it. He said, "Don't post your everyday, what you're doing every day, like your whole life. What are you're posting on your story, like what's been going on or anything. Just like, you know, don't post that type of stuff in
I
your
like
story."
what you had for dinner last night.
Yeah.
I
And that's the
just
thing.
drank milk.
That's the thing too.
I
If you're
drank some milk.
If you're
Low fat.
if you're constantly posting on Instagram every single day, it makes you seem like you have nothing else to do but be on social media.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
your
Even
whole
if
life.
even if you're going out and doing stuff, if you're constantly on social media 24/7, you're posting pictures every day. What are you doing? You're
Yeah.
only on social media. You're trying to, I don't know,
Yeah.
boost your life or
Right.
whatever.
That also comes to the back to the conversation where we had like giving your woman like what's it called? Telling your woman what you do every day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
another thing because then you're not. There's no mystery.
Yeah.
No mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the number one bestseller among women? It's romance novels. Because they can't find any romance. They got to read it in a book and think about it there.
Yeah.
And that's something else too. Women fall in love through their ears. Men fall in love through their eyes. What you say is much more important than how you look. When it comes to women, I mean, as long as you take care of yourself and dress nice, and that's something else. As a matter of fact, if you're being real, a lot of people may think, well, I just go out with a pair of Crocs on, sweats, and the shirt that's I don't know, let's say a K-She pig on there. Some of you know what that is. I feel comfortable. That's me. Well. But yet they'll take their car to the car wash and wax that baby up and
Yeah.
shine it up and make it look great. But yet they don't, to me, have enough self-respect to present themselves as a package. I know when I travel, I always wear a jacket, sometimes a tie, and very few people do. And I get treated with much more respect, contrary to what people say, oh, you shouldn't judge a person by their looks. Well, everybody does. So if you dress sharp like you're somebody, guess what? People are going to treat you like you're somebody. I mean, it helps if you feel like you're somebody
Yeah.
too, but that's a beginning to take care of yourself and to work out, be in shape, dress yourself good, and then people will treat you in such a manner. We teach people how to treat us, so it's very
Yeah.
important to be real to yourself. And if you don't feel like you deserve to dress yourself up, but yet you'll clean your car, you need to ask yourself why. Why don't I take better care of myself? Why do I take better care of my car than I do myself? Very important. Many people never stop and ask themselves questions like that.
And another thing I was gonna say, because we were talking about social media stuff, one of the things that guys do that isn't real is, let's say they're at a party or at school or something like that, and they see a girl that they think is really cute or something. They won't go up and talk to her, but you know, like you said, it's a buffer. They'll hit her up online, and then they're trying to spit this game, you know, trying to be somebody they're not. Because it's easier. You can see somebody's message, sit there and think about what you're gonna say. But if you're face to face, that's your most authentic self because you don't have time to sit there and think about what you need
Exactly.
to say.
And it doesn't matter if you're afraid. And even if she can tell you're afraid, you're up above 99% of
Yeah.
the men because you faced your fear. Everybody has fear. Everybody has fear. Fear of rejection, fear of whatever. But if you are the brave enough to go up and face that, what does that show her if you don't? If she sees you looking at her, she knows.
Yeah.
Girls know. And then you go home and send her a text message. Right there, she can see you don't have a pair.
Yeah.
So is she going to feel safe with you? Of course not.
Well, I personally believe you can be a 1 in looks for men, but if you can still have better game than a
Yeah.
10, because I've seen.
I agree.
Yeah, I've personally seen that. Let's say a 10 gets their girl stolen, by like a 1, and he'll call him ugly, but he'll have better game than
Yeah,
him.
and another thing too, I've seen guys who are like a 10 or something like that, and they're dating some woman that's not maybe a 6 or something like that, and they're getting disrespected by the 6, but they have no self-respect or
Yeah, low
game.
self-esteem, low self-worth. They're getting what they feel like they deserve.
Yeah, exactly. And
Well,
another,
go ahead.
Another thing I was going to add on too is like I understand some people's situations with their parents they don't have a good relationship, so it's hard for them to find somebody that's gonna help be a good partner, because I know you learn from example. I mean, I know from you,
Right.
you're what's the word? You're here every day. You work and everything like that. There's stability in the home and everything like that. So I'm gonna find somebody who's gonna be the same way.
Right. Well, we become part of what we are around. And that's something else, too. If you're having trouble with women, find somebody that is good with women and hang around them. By osmosis, she'll pick up their habits and attitudes, and then you can be real. I know when I was younger, and I was quite the player, well, maybe I still am, but not as much as I was. I don't play as much as I used to because I got different priorities in my life. But I used to say, well, if you ever really let a girl get to know you, she's going to crap on you. So it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. But it wasn't so much that I let her get to know me, it was that I opened up with her and treated her, I would say, too good, or I treated her like my best guy friend. I started. And every time I did that, they weren't as attracted to that as if I kept to myself and didn't share certain things, usually vulnerable things that I wouldn't normally share with a girlfriend. It's just the way it works. Now, some people would say, well, it's because you were with damaged girls. Every girl and every guy has got some kind of damage from their past. I mean, I know some are extreme. Or you were in a toxic, that's another buzzword, toxic
I
relationship.
said that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, so
last night when we went to the trampoline park or whatever, there was this girl that I saw there, and finally, I've been, what do I call it? I've been learning how to toughen up and walk up to a girl and, like in public places and, ask her for a number or something. Last night, I was in, there was a foam pit area or whatever. There was a worker there. I thought she was pretty cute. So I walked up to her and I was like, hey, what's your name? Like, how old are you and everything? And then she went to rotate. So I just stopped talking to her for a while. I hung out with my friend and everything. And then before I left, I asked her for a number and she gave it to me. So, yeah, I started learning how to, toughen up. And
yeah, I mean, and once again, you're 99% above the rest of them because most guys don't have the guts to walk up to a girl. And it's not that big of a deal. What's the worst thing that can happen? She could ignore you, tell you to F off or whatever, but so what? At least you face your fear, and it really has nothing to do with her. You just go do what you need to do.
And that's the
as a
thing.
man.
Even me, it's like I've gone up and talked to a few girls and I've gotten rejected, but then I always felt better afterwards instead of thinking, well, what could have happened if I
I
went?
wonder what. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if? What if I would have faced my fear?
That's true. And then that's the thing too, is it's like when you're face to face with somebody, yeah, you can only help but to be genuine, be yourself, really be real.
Well, and think about that. It's if you want to go approach a girl and you don't, that's not being real because you really wanted to approach her. And if you'd have done what was real and real inside of you, you would have approached her. So right there, that's not being real. So there's many definitions of being real, but it's being true to yourself, really.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? What do you want to say? What happens so many times? I know. What's his name? Zan Preon. He says this. Just blurt it out. How many times do you think of something to say? You don't think it just pops into your head, but then you think, well, I better not say that. Right there, you're not being real. If you just speak what you say, or if you see a girl, I'm going to talk to her, go up to her and say, hey, what's up? My name is Mark, whatever it happens to be. I mean, that's all you got to do. You don't have to have some canned opener line to talk to. But a lot of guys will think, well, what if I don't know what to talk about? Man, all you got to do is listen to what she says and then ask her questions about what she's talking about. And if she doesn't talk, or if you go up and she says something like, you say, what's your name? Sally.
Yeah.
What are you doing tonight, Sally? Nothing. If she gives you these one-word answers, she's not interested and you just will walk
She's
away.
being dry.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
It's nice meeting you. Just walk away. 9 times out of 10, because if she's not attracted to you, if she's interested in you, she's going to make it easy for you.
Yeah.
And if she's not, you just well go on. Why would you waste time with someone who's not interested in you?
Literally
go on to
suffering.
the next one.
Yeah.
It's literally so free.
You guys know, y'all are very talkative, huh?
No, I mean, I can't really think of anything. I mean,
Think of something, boy.
it's hard. Well, how you were talking about, being real. Whenever you were talking about whenever you brought up relationships, I'm like, oh, it's this. I just thought, because I thought we were talking about being real, like entirely.
Well, you can also talk about being real in general.
Yeah, all aspects of life. I mean, with my clients, I'm real with my clients. I talk to them about a lot of different stuff. By the time when I bid a job, whether they become my clients or not, by the time I get out of there, I usually know about their family. They know about mine, and I build a relationship in the short time, which may be a half an hour that I'm with them. And everybody's favorite subject is them. Mm-hmm. So I ask them questions not about them, not in an interrogatory sort of way, not like I'm interrogating them, but just because I'm genuinely interested in people. Mm-hmm. Few people listen. I mean, if you listen to somebody, really listen, instead of thinking about what you're going to say next, you're up in the top 1% right there, because most people are just thinking about what they're going to say next. Mm-hmm. So if you walk up to a woman, ask her, hey, what's your name? She tells you, my name's Mark. What are you doing here? Or whatever it happens to be. And listen, she will give you hints like, oh, I'm from Florida. Oh, did you like the beach? Did you go to the beach? Yeah, I went to the beach. Well, how'd you like it? I've been down there, or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
Just listen to what she said. Or I went to the movie last night, or whatever it is. Oh, well, what'd you say? Well, what'd you like about that movie? I haven't seen it yet. Do you think I'd like it? It's so easy to do.
Yeah.
And if you want them to know, instead of coming off as a friend, if you want them to know you're interested, you need to throw a few things in. Sexual undertones in there.
Yeah.
You don't have to blatantly say anything, but you want them, you can look at them kind of like this. Mm-hmm. You want them to know that you're interested in more than just being friends, but you don't have to come right out and say it. Otherwise, you get put in a friend zone, or you're a nice guy.
Yeah.
I think our cameraman has to go. Is that what you're indicating to me? So we're going to wrap it up tonight. My cameraman where are you going?
This skating rink thing.
Oh, he's going to the skating rink. Like roller skates?
Yeah.
Really?
Great
They still have
skate.
it? Great skate. I used to roller skate over here a long time. I didn't know they still roller skated. Roller derby, huh? Yeah, you guys have never heard that, have you?
I have.
That's yeah.
Oh my god.
I used to watch that on Saturday nights with my grandma when I was about 10 years old. So we'll wrap it up. Thanks for joining me, and we will be back next week. Remember, pick up a copy of that book, 30 Dangerous. What is it? 30 Dangerous Ways.
Things to do when.
30 Dangerous Ideas for Men in Their 30s. Great book. Like I said, I enjoyed it. It was a good read. If you'd like to get my help personally, marksinspiration.com is my website. And if you're a young lady and over 18 years of old, we would love to have you on the show. Contact Henry or me. Send an email or a IG message, and we would love to have you here for our next show.